Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Takeover Tuesdays. I'm your host, Jessica Springs. Today we have a special guest as always. And we actually have a returning guest today who has a big announcement happening this week. So we have brought this special person back. And before I introduce this person, I always like to take a moment to tell you about Takeover Tuesdays in case this is your first time joining us. So, Takeover Tuesdays is a show that highlights small business owners and their products, their services, and brings together the community. So, this is basically a networking show that allows the audience to learn about the small business owners, where they come from, where they've been, where they're at now, and just about what they have to offer. And we bring folks together every week that hopefully either inspire, learn, support buying their products, all of the above. So I would just like to say also, this is our last episode of the season 2. It's crazy, but been through 2 seasons. So we have a lot coming up next season. We are going to come back, as always, bigger and better. So I hope you will tune in next season, just like you have been for this season. But without further ado, let me bring in our guest for today. Give me a moment. Gotta love technology. So of course I tested this before and now there we
Hey,
go. Good morning, Jacquelyn.
good morning. How are you?
I am fabulous. It's Takeover Tuesdays. I'm with you, so I am happy to be here with you.
Yes.
So officially, I'd like to introduce Jacquelyn. This is Jacquelyn Clemmons. She's a doula. I'm going to have her give her entire title because she is not only a doula, she's a lot of things, and I definitely don't want to mess up all the fabulous titles she has. So I will let her further introduce herself. So go ahead, Jacquelyn.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. Yes, I am a birth and postpartum doula. I'm a certified breastfeeding specialist, as well as an author and entrepreneur. So that's it. Those are my regular titles, but obviously that encompasses a lot. So there's lots of trainings and certifications and exciting things that I get to do within all of those realms. But that's who I am, and that's what I do.
Yes, thank you. Well, we've talked before, and I'm bringing you back faster than I usually bring anybody back because this week is a super important, impactful, special week for you. Let's just kick off with that. Please share with our audience what this week is for you in your business.
Absolutely. So this week is the launch of the Okionu Birth Foundation in Colorado. So we are super excited. We are launching June 18th, which is this upcoming Friday. We are opening applications for postpartum families. What we do is we provide chef-prepared meals, as well as group therapy support for low-income BIPOC families in Colorado. And I'm so excited to be offering these services. Basically, for the 6 weeks postpartum, we'll be making sure that every family has meals delivered to their home. And once a week, they will be linked up with Therapists of Color Collaborative. We're partnered with them to provide mental health group support for those families. So we'll have partner groups, and we'll have birthing person groups. Will have them separated so that people have a chance to really be supported and talk about those issues that they're experiencing in the immediate postpartum period. And so I am super, super, super excited about this launch and offering these services to the community.
Yeah, this is huge. So when I talked to Jeff behind the scenes, I was telling her, really, this is phenomenal because we talk about food scarcity, but in this realm, I've never heard of this being done. So I think that's what makes this so impactful, because it's during the particular time it is, when you're going through the process of just having your baby, and it's just really important not to have to worry about food in general, and especially during that moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you think about any issue that we have, right? Whether it be food insecurity or any sort of mental health challenges, um, physical challenges, all of those things are exacerbated in the postpartum season. And so, one of the things that I really like about our program is that we're not just targeting the person that gave birth, we're supporting wraparound services for the entire family. So, when you just give birth, it's nice to say, okay, this person needs all of everything. But if they are partnered or if they are married and we're not also supporting that person, we're really kind of not helping in as much as we could, because we're letting their support system down. And so by offering these wraparound services to not just the person that just gave birth, but also their partner, and making sure that their partner is good, we're taking care of that core need of being able to eat. And so if there's any job issues, there might be job insecurity happening, to be able to know, like, my family is taken care of for 6 weeks and that we're going to be able to at least eat, that takes a huge, or it can take a huge load off of families as they're trying to navigate that particular season. Some people might even make a choice to not take maternity or paternity leave because they're concerned about how they could feed their family. And so we're hoping that by providing these services, it will be a cushion to those families to allow them to navigate comfortably, being well nourished, so that they can move forward and make the best decisions for themselves and for their family.
Yeah, this is really beautiful. And we have Manushka. Good morning, Manushka. She says, "Good morning, Queens." And Manushka also says, "What an incredible gift to the community." I couldn't agree more, Manushka, for sure. So let's talk about how this service looks. What's the process? So share with us what that process looks like.
So this Friday, the applications will be live on our website. Basically, we're going to be doing it cohort style. So each cohort is going to have 10 families, which is up to 20 people. You can submit your applications by the middle of July. 10 families will be selected and chosen. You'll then be onboarded into our system and connected with the personal chef that will be providing your meals, as well as with the therapist who will be running your group for your particular cohort. So it's basically just, it's application based, and obviously we're serving low income families, and so that verification will be a part of that process. Once you're registered and you're onboarded, we have your address and you know how you'll be attending. If you're more comfortable doing it online or in person, that will be something that is established per cohort as things evolve in our, current world. However, every week on a certain day, each of those families for 6 weeks will have those meals delivered to them. They don't even need to leave home. Every week on the appointed day, they will be having group support separate. There will be a new parent group, and that'll be for anyone that has just given birth, whether they have already had children or not. And then there will also be a first time parents group, because we understand that when you're doing this for the first time, you have like so many questions and there's so many things that are unknown, versus someone who is expanding their family. You still have challenges, you still have things that you have to navigate, but there's certainly two different approaches in terms of what you're processing and what you're experiencing. And so we have those process group support to reflect those differences and where people are in the different stages that they're in. After the 6 week time is up, we kind of debrief and offboard everyone and start the rounds again. So our goal is to have 10 cohorts per year, to initially start off serving 100 families per year with these services, kind of get the data, the feedback, make sure we can tweak anything, make sure everything is smooth running, but to move forward and continually expanding how many families we can serve. So we are definitely still partnering. If there are any personal chefs out there, the Therapist of Color Collaborative is set. We have therapists, but one of the beautiful things is that serving this demographic, low income, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, the Therapist of Color Collaborative has therapists from those backgrounds. They will be with people that have understood, seen, and or experienced the similar things that they are challenged with as people of color, as Black people, as Indigenous people. And so, as we know, when it comes to that mental health support, it's so important to process with people that look like you, that understand your background and understand what you're going through. And so hopefully that will ease any hesitation to share or to just speak and just be who you are in the moment, because you know you'll be processing and being supported by a licensed professional in a space with someone that looks like you. So that's how the process will go.
This is phenomenal, Jacquelyn. And I want to back up a bit and just commend you for your differentiation, because even the first time I talked to you, you're just very mindful of different situations with families and babies. So I just want to commend you as a business person on that, because to me, that's one of the most important things, is recognizing those differences. Sometimes it's good to recognize the similarities as well, but you just always do so well at that. So
Yeah,
keep
I
doing
appreciate
that, yeah, for families. So how did you come about this foundation? Like, tell us. Let's go back to the idea, the thought, the vision.
Oh man, you want to know the real story, the real thing?
Yes, we.
So
That's what we're here for.
it was all a dream, you know. I'm not gonna say it in my Biggie voice because that wouldn't be appropriate, but literally, it was all a dream. Um, I'm a birth worker. My life is steeped in working with birthing families and postpartum families. And so obviously that affects my consciousness and how I view the world and what actually goes on in my mind, in my subconscious while I'm resting. And so I think it was late January, I literally had a start to finish dream of how this entire foundation and process should go. There were some other interesting things in terms of supporters and just the impact of the work, but the whole thing just was a dream, and including the name. So I woke up and I'm like, what does Okionu mean? Like, I didn't make up the name. I didn't make up any of these things. It was just like, these are the gaps, it needs to be filled. But obviously in my waking life, it's valid. I know that meals and mental health support are the gaps that are missing for postpartum families. We have diaper drives and, community baby showers, and all of those things are totally necessary. However, we are not supporting folks with food and with mental health support at the degree that we should. And so, all right now, she finished her sentence for me.
We know
So,
you did. We know you did, Manoush.
so, I woke up, I Googled Okionu. The root word is Akiun, which means wise, intuitive, and thoughtful. And so when I started to think about what we're doing, in terms of thoughtfulness, considering your community, looking out for the least of them, low income families that are struggling, being able to provide them with food and be concerned about their mental state, because in fact, it really does affect our whole community. That's the thoughtful piece. Intuitively, when we are loving as people of color, all Indigenous folks across the world, when we show love, how do we show love? We show love through food. We nurture through food. We communicate through food. I just recently watched this dope documentary on Netflix called High on the Hog, and it really just speaks to how specifically Black people communicate with food, how we survive and thrive with food. And so that's like the intuitive piece of it. And then it's just wise. to look out and to nurture the people in your community, especially during this super important rites of passage. And so when I saw that definition, it just clicked. And I knew that it was something that was real. I knew that it was something that I had to do and that I was being called to do. And that was just it. It was just like, oh, okay. So Okionu Birth Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
then I just got started and, got my paperwork done and reaching out to people. And, you know, I've worked for nonprofits, but I've never founded one and run one. So I just immediately got into, seeking a mentor and seeking business coaches to support me in this endeavor because I just want to do it in the spirit of excellence. I want it to be right. It's too beautiful of a vision to play around with. And so that's how Okionu Birth Foundation came to be. So like you said, we were chatting earlier, it can be a little weird where you're just like, so how'd you get started? It's like, it was a dream.
No, not at all. I mean, that's how it starts. I think a lot of people just don't give the real. They give the interview answer, and that's on Takeover Tuesdays, we want the real stuff. We want the real, and really, it's more common than you think for people to actually literally have a dream. No pun intended. So I believe it. And Manushka says it was a divine download inspiration. I love that.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about, and Paul, hi, good morning, Paul. Thanks for joining us. Such an important mission, nurture through nurturing. I couldn't
Absolutely.
agree more. So talk to us about the foundation process. As you said, you mentioned you've never run a nonprofit or tried to apply for one because I like to share these things because for listeners out there, it's not only important. Of course, we want to support you and your foundation. However, I think a big part of this show is sharing with the audience in case they're looking and someone listening out there might be wanting to start a nonprofit or foundation and they just don't know how to go about it. They're scared, don't know what to do. And you mentioned a couple of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, so just on the business tip, number one, Makisha Booth of Sister Biz is my business coach. She's fierce, she's straight up, she gives it to you straight, which I absolutely appreciate. I don't like to fiddle faddle around when it comes to like, hey, like I just need to know what to do. I don't necessarily need you to hand hold me, but I need someone to just like tell me what I need to do, how I need to do it, and then just let me like go and add creativity and all of that. So she's a phenomenal business coach. Her style is amazing for me. I would definitely encourage anyone to seek out a business mentor or a business coach in the field that you are looking to embark on. So she has her own nonprofit with Sister Biz Global Network. She's gone trial and error and she's hit all those crazy lumps and bumps that I'm trying not to hit. And so she was a perfect fit for me. She's a Black woman. She's cool. I've interacted with her many different times. She's super professional, but also down to earth, which is the vibe that I need. And so I would definitely encourage folks to seek out support from people that they vibe with and people who have been where they are trying to go. Secondly, this is super important for Black businesses to hear, is we've all heard that phrase, your network is your net worth. And what that equals is social capital. So I encourage Black business owners to get out there, meet other people, talk about your mission, talk about what it is that you're trying to do, and be open to expanding your social network and having people support you in what you're doing. It may not be the person that you're talking to, but they might go, oh, I have a cousin that can do this, or I know someone else that can do this, that. Don't get so lost in like Googling everything or keeping everything to yourself, being afraid that someone's going to steal your idea that you don't branch out. The best way to take care of that is get an NDA template, a non-disclosure agreement, and get to networking. Communicate with people, branch out, join any of these entrepreneurial groups that are out. Definitely, I recommend for Black women, Sister Biz. But there's tons of groups out there that on Facebook, there's Brand Build and Launch with Arsha Jones. There's tons of advice in there about anything. You can just kind of go through the search engine and you'll see over the years all the advice that's been given. But definitely plugging into a social network and not feeling like you have to do everything alone and not being afraid to just jump out there and ask questions. That's what I'm doing. That's what I've done. And I think that it's been super helpful. Same thing with like you need a board if you're going the nonprofit route. You want to make sure that you have people that support your mission, wholeheartedly support you, but also that have social capital and that are able to connect you to different assets, grants, people that you'll need in the process. Don't just necessarily have a board of friends that like are just there to be cute. Not helpful. Like you need someone that's willing to put in that sweat equity or that financial equity, or again, that social capital and connect you to the people that you need to help your foundation be successful. Trying to think what else. Coffee.
Yeah. Lots of it. I'm with you on that one.
Yes, like you want to make sure that you're eating well, obviously. And that's the other thing about pursuing this mission. I've been able to constantly remind myself that I too have to stay well nourished in order to nourish other people. And so it's a consistent gut check when I'm kind of feeling like overwhelmed. I'm like, nope, you get you a nutritious meal too. You're over here making sure that your community and these families get the food that they need. Then you also have to take care of yourself first. And so that would be my other advice is that whatever it is that you're super passionate about, don't let it suck the life out of you. Nourish yourself as you're pursuing those passions so that you can show up like fully vibrant and available for whatever your passion is or whatever your demographic of folks are that you're trying to serve. Make sure that your cup is all the way full mentally. Don't really plug into TV much anymore. I'm constantly listening to podcasts. I'm constantly financial literacy. YouTube University is my friend. But again, I'm prefacing that with, and then have a business mentor to kind of vet these different ideas and concepts that you're learning about. Super big into like neuroscience, like how can I grow my brain? How can I get rid of toxic thought patterns and subconscious patterns? And so all of that is what I would suggest to a Black entrepreneur moving forward in anything, whether it's a small business or a foundation. Get your mind right. Get a therapist. I'm a firm believer as a doula first. Every doula should have therapy as a part of their business plan. But then we could take that a step further. Every Black person whose family comes from America should have therapy in their business plan. And so that allows you to show up solid and grounded as you're approaching whatever business you choose to endeavor in.
Ooh, you said a mouthful, Jacquelyn. I could not agree with you anymore. The nutrition part is huge. I struggle with the same thing. Always checking in with. So I agree. Like I get going and going and going. I don't stop to, like you said, provide that nourishment for myself. So I'm always trying to get better at that. That's huge. I agree with you. Because you got to have fuel to add to your fire so that you can keep fire going. And Rainey, good morning, Rainey. Thanks for joining us, Rainey. She says, "Oh boy, that part." So I think she meant all of it. So you gave a lot there. Manushka says, "If you do, please apply for the Women's Foundation of Colorado's Women's and Girls of Color Fund grant application window 7/5 through 8/2." Great.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
I absolutely will.
Yeah, thank you.
So that she brings up a good point. So in addition to just self-funding and looking for grants, the other thing is our foundation is hosted on Open Collective. And so Open Collective is a fiscal sponsor, which is an option for folks who are looking to start a foundation. We're hosted there, but what that does is it allows us that while we're getting things organized, situated for our 501c3, that they are actually our fiscal agent for us and can accept grants and funding for us so that I can really just focus on the foundation and making sure everything is solid and tight. And one of the things that we have available as well, where you can contribute $5 a month through our Open Collective platform, or you can do like a one-time contribution. And basically, everything is transparently laid out budget-wise. Where's the money going to? Who are we serving? How much does it cost? All of that. So I do want to let you guys know, and I can send the link to you for you to put in the show notes if you want. But our goal for our Friday launch is to have at least 10 $5 a month supporters for the Okionu Birth Foundation, just to have a strong start and kind of get that support flowing for those families. Every little bit counts, whether it's going to legal fees or whether it's actually going to the meals, whether it's going to our accounting, whether it's going to video assets or whatever. And so please spread the word as well. Like we are certainly accepting, community support as well as grants, as Manushka mentioned. And I'm gonna go ahead and go through the comments and screenshot that. But yeah, so that's another thing too, is like you don't have to get so lost in all of the fiscal stuff. There are fiscal agents out there that can host your foundation for you to kind of give you a little bit of space to breathe as you get things solidified. So that's an option as well.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Paul says you should also connect with Michelle Fox for phenomenal nutritional tips and culinary advice. Paul,
Absolutely.
yeah. So Paul, to drop, if you guys have if you have their Facebook pages, Instagram, put them in the comments so that when people read this, they can just click on, their handles. That would be great. And Manushka even says, please drop the link for all of these. That would be great. So I know, gosh, this is going so fast. It always does. I don't want to not include some things. So first of all, please tell us what the name of your website is. And I think you said, folks as of Friday can just go on in and apply, but tell us the name of your website.
It's okionubirthfoundation.org. So I'll spell that for you. It's OKIONU birth, BIRTH, foundation, FOUNDATION.org. And then I can drop the link as well. Our Open Collective link is www.opencollective.com/Okionu Birth Foundation. And so both of those places for contributions as well as for applications, our IG handle is exactly the same. Okionu Birth Foundation on Instagram and on LinkedIn.
Perfect. And as always, after the show, we will go back and put these links in. Jacquelyn and I will make sure that they're in there so you guys can all share the information or sign up yourself if you're watching and this is a need for you. So Jacquelyn, before we go, I think I asked you this time. I try to ask every guest. Is there something that you didn't get to share, that we didn't talk about, that you would like to share before we sign off?
I guess with this foundation, this is our way of kind of bringing back that community and village vibe through a nonprofit. But like, I really would just encourage everyone to think about the people in your life that are expecting. If you've had children, think about what you experienced in your postpartum season and what you would have needed or what would have been helpful. And just in the little things, whether it's a Grubhub gift card or, just a Visa gift card, and just thinking about ways that we can kind of bring that village energy back, even though we all kind of live in these nuclear ways and far away from people that we may live far away from people that we love and care about. But just shooting someone a digital gift card for food and and checking in with them to see how they're feeling, it can really just go a long, long way. And so I'm hoping that the ripple effect of starting this foundation is that we really begin to amplify again the importance of our community and the importance of our village, especially for postpartum families.
I love it. I love it. I love the mentality, the attitude, and I 100% agree with you. Uh, Jacquelyn, thank you so much. First of all, or lastly, I should say, not first of all, lastly, congratulations, woohoo, on this
Thank you.
new venture, because this not only is impactful and meaningful to the community. I know what it takes to do this kind of work, not your work, but the work of starting a foundation, a 501c3, and it's a lot of work. So congratulations. I know it's a continuous journey, so I just want to congratulate you. And
Thank you. And
yeah,
pray for me. You hear me?
yeah, for
I'm
getting this
tired.
far. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a huge to do this. So I understand. Uh, I also want to take a moment to thank our audience, community, friends, my colleagues, partners, everybody who tunes in every single week to watch the show, or they go back and rewatch it on the after it's been live recorded on YouTube. I really appreciate our audience, because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to spread the word. And that's what this is all about, is spreading the word about small business owners, local or not. We are based out of Denver, but as you guys know that are faithful followers, we have people from all over, including Jacquelyn, even though her base is Denver as well. She's talked about where she lives before. So we're just always trying to expand, to me, the community outside of even where you live now, to a bigger community. So thank you to everybody who tunes in, shares, supports. Please keep sharing. If you miss our live shows, they're on Jessica Springs, just Jessica Springs, nothing else. So if you go to YouTube, type in Jessica Springs, you'll see me there. You'll see all of the guests like Jacquelyn there. They're all of our shows archives. I think it's pretty cool, because any and everybody that's been on, you can go there for housing stuff, mortgage, like Jacquelyn. There's caterers on there. There's just all kind of hair products. There's just tons of small business on there. So probably if you're looking for something, it's probably on there. So please go share that, subscribe. I have to plug all this because, again, it's important to share this so we get to spread the wealth. Let's see, what else do I want to say as on the last episode? Thanks, Jacquelyn, for being on our last episode of season 2. Woohoo! I gotta get
Congratulations on 2 seasons.
yeah. I got myself my own shout out, because like you, it just starts with a dream, a thought, a vision, and it just, evolves, and it's always evolving, and I'm always trying to grow and get bigger and better. Thank you to my team, my videographer, my intern, my graphic designer, all of my team. You guys are amazing. They help. So I have to say, I don't do this alone. I do have a team. They help everything come together as far as production, advertising, all of that, scheduling guests. So thank you, thank you, thank you to everybody who's involved, because I could not do this alone. And that all being said, until next time, we will be back next season. Watch for we're going to actually post some reruns and stuff on Facebook as the summer goes on. So I'm not going black. I definitely will be posting some things Takeover Tuesday related all summer long. So please stay tuned. Thank you, Jacquelyn, again for joining us. Please pass on her website to anyone you know that this may be a need, and just keep supporting small business owners.
Thank you for having me. And yes, everything goes live on Friday. So June 18th is the official launch date, but I appreciate you for being supportive and having me back on so soon.
Yeah, no, I couldn't not do it when I heard that you were launching this Friday. I mean, that's what it's all about. Yeah.
So thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Jacquelyn, you'll be on 3rd season too. So I'll see you soon. Take care. Until next time, stay inspired.